Welcome to Film Unit!
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Film Unit. We're discussing the Oscars, which, as the time of recording, occurred 2 o'clock in the morning, so less than 24 hours ago. So this is hot news. And if you haven't seen any of these films, we're not going to be spoiling them, because we haven't seen all of them, and we'll just be giving our general opinions of the ones we've seen. But we promise no spoilers, will be good, so please continue to listen. Just to introduce ourselves, we are from Film Unit, which is a volunteer-run cinema at the University of Sheffield, run for the students by the students, and we're based in the University of Sheffield Students' Union basement. If you want to get involved, feel free to check us out at Film Unit on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or at filmunit.org.uk. Honestly, we'll get involved, or if you have any questions, just message us from wherever you're listening, because we will really answer it, because we just love talking about film. But firstly, do you want to introduce yourself to this beloved guest?
Hello, I'm Asha. You might recognise me for my weird takes on films.
I just don't think they're too weird. I think they're good takes. And everyone, I think, has weird takes on films. It's just personal preference.
I mean, I loved the silence after, in the first episode. You and Jack are silent for like solid 5 seconds. And then you start responding. And I was like, I might have overstepped.
Oh no, I overstepped quite a bit. People go, wait, what do you think? And I'm like, I shouldn't have said those words in that order. I should have kept quiet. But so I guess, listeners, if you want weird takes on the Oscars, keep listening. But where do we start? Because this Oscars, it's been an odd year as it is, because cinema's been closed. And so I don't know if that will...
So roughly about the gala, They did it in some, train station? I still do not understand why was it not in Dolby Theatre, because when they did, a little bits of empty Dolby Theatre, and it seemed bigger than the venue they used.
That doesn't make any sense, but that also sounds like a performance that they do, being like, look, we're doing social distancing rather than just doing the normal, but I don't know if it would be any better or not.
Yeah. At least there were many fashionable masks.
Were there?
Yeah, matched to the outfit. That was lovely. British filmmakers were all in the BFI cinema. And they were just zooming.
It was a good year for Brits, wasn't it? If you look at the lineup.
Yeah, but also they got mixed so much. Especially in Mank, it shows. First of all, it's gonna come out sooner or later. I hate Mank. It's a trash film. But, it stars a British actor in a main role playing an American, and then they casted Lily Collins, an American, to play his British assistant, and her British accent was so bad that I, as a foreigner, could spot it.
That's not good. Also, nothing against Lily Collins, but I also can't mentally picture her doing a British accent, so...
Also, I actually have something against Lily Collins. I used to love her, but she ruined everything for me with Emily in Paris. Because not only she starred in it, she produced it. So she's responsible for that happening. And because she thought it's a good idea, I no longer trust her to make a film.
She has to earn you back. She has to do something really incredible to try and win you back over. But until she does, you're going to be hesitant. See, Gary Oldman usually does good at the Oscars, because he's a good actor. I can't hold him against him. So I'm a bit upset that Mank isn't that good, because he won a couple of years ago for that The Darkest Hour, didn't he? He played Winston Churchill.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because he's a good actor, but also you need also a good role.
Yeah. To
show your talent, and his characters in Mank, it's all about writing Citizen Kane. So it's mostly him drinking in bed, and then flashbacks. Yeah, because he's an alcoholic.
All the writers were back then. That's how you got into the role. You met someone in a pub, and you were like, we're both alcoholics. Let's go write a play together, or a screenplay, or
and that's basically what the flashbacks are about.
God, that was meant to be a joke. I didn't realise I'd got it bang on the head.
Yeah, and that's basically the film. It tries to be political because, he endorsed socialists running for president and others didn't. But also, I should like that plot line. I really did not care much. I don't know. It just felt too...
Is it too much Hollywood
maybe I'm
patting itself on the back? Is it too much like being...
Yeah, it was very much a Hollywood one. Like, it's self-pleasuring. No one else can enjoy. Because this is, like, I hated that a lot in that film. Because you can say the same about La La Land.
Yeah.
Because it has that references. But it has a lot to offer to a naive viewer. Like, La La Land came out in 2016. Yeah. I started watching films then. I knew nothing. And I went to La La Land. I loved the film because it has a beautiful story that makes sense if you don't know anything about old Hollywood. Yeah. And Mank is just like, this is Herman Mankiewicz. This is Marion someone. And these are other screenwriters. Also, who remembers, like, screenwriters from 1940s?
We most of us aren't alive to remember them. Even if we were alive, I mean, I think it's still a thing in Hollywood. No one cares about the screenwriter. It's that everything's mentioned on the director or the star. The screenwriter's just someone in the back. He's an alcoholic. It called it good.
Yeah, especially like they had just a couple of guys who wrote all of the films. Like now I try to pay attention to a good script. But it's like I'm not going to remember that from like a really old film.
Yeah, I did hear that it was a bit much of Hollywood pattern on its back, and considering you agree, it's meant to be visually quite cool. Like they meant to do some cool shots in it, but I don't know if that's.
It just looks like an old film.
Ah, well.
Yeah.
So does it get our seal of approval?
Oh, so we can go into the first category because I'm on the Oscars website. Gary Oldman is nominated for role in Mank for the leading role, but also he had a strong competition, like Stephen Yeun for Minari, Chadwick Boseman for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Riz Ahmed for Sound of Metal, and the winner was Anthony Hopkins with The Father, and we both have seen The Father, and I think that it was really well deserved.
Honestly, I watched it this afternoon and I had to go splash water in my face to try and recover and try and drink lots of water to rehydrate so my voice wasn't just breaking every 3 seconds, because it's such a gut-wrenching film and Anthony Hopkins is stunning. Considering the last time he won an Oscar, it was for Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter, where he plays like evil and creepy, and you're like, oh yeah, I wouldn't want to be in the same room as him. Like, in this, it's a completely different character, and it's just gut-wrenching.
Yeah, he's really good at those, micro emotions, very tame roles, because I really liked him in Two Popes. And that was also, kind of similar. Yeah, also, I'm a vulnerable old man. And he was so good.
Honestly, this film is a sucker punch to the gut and the heart, and it does a really good job at showing dementia and Alzheimer's, unbelievably so. You can tell Anthony Hopkins' research into it, because even the way he moves and he kind of walks around the house and keeps forgetting stuff, that's all 100% what happens, because unfortunately I had a family member go through it, and so you kind of end up seeing what happens to others. And so also, heads up, if you are a listener who has had a member go through dementia and Alzheimer's, maybe don't watch this film for a bit unless you're feeling ready, because it's so accurate. It's not very there's a one, I don't know if this counts as spoiler or not, but there's one, because with Alzheimer's and dementia you forget what people look like. They do a very good job at explaining and the film does disorientate you because it's trying to replicate his memory loss, and
because we are seeing his reality from his perspective,
which is heartbreaking. But it is quite interesting the way they show that, and the way they do it very subtly through the sets, through the actors, through the names and everything. It's very well done. I honestly can't fault it. And Anthony Hopkins won Best Actor. Didn't this also win Best Adapted Screenplay? Because it's from a play, isn't it?
It won.
But yeah, so it definitely deserves to win those categories, I'd say.
Yeah, actually, because it was a stage play. First of all, how did they do it on stage? Because I think that the editing and just the magic of film, that you could just change those things that were changed. No spoilers. It was very film, just very typical of film. And even though the film feels theatrical in the way they are acting, it just made more sense to me as a film.
I think, I don't know, you'd have to probably go see it. I think for the play, probably more watching him and his reactions rather than while the film's very much, this is how he perceives the world. I think the play might balance half how he perceives the world versus the reality. Also, Olivia Colman's great in this. She's excellent. And considering how good of an actress she is, for her to be, like, semi-good, like, to almost appear semi-good in this film because of how good Anthony Hopkins is. He's by no means bad, and it's all very subtle. It's like, but you'll see, like, the way someone looks at you or the way they look at each other, and there's so much there that, honestly, it's incredible. I would recommend it to so many people but again, also warn many people because it is gut-wrenching.
Yeah, just like, you need to be in the right state of mind and be able to just, like, sit and be sad after.
You'll need a box of tissues. You will need several tissues, maybe a hot drink, maybe some chocolate, a blanket. Just cuddle yourself ready.
Yeah, like, my sweatshirt was soaked from tears because I just, like, pulled out my shirt to my face and I was just, like, dripping from my tears and it just got soaked. I was just like,
honestly, it's just so hot. I could probably talk about it all day and how heart-wrenching it is, but it is just... It's one... Because sometimes you see films that are nominated and you sometimes go, that's okay. I will mention, like, you're like, oh, that's an okay film, like, that's... Yeah. But this, I was like, yeah, it deserves the hype, it deserves the praise it's getting, just because of... It's actually, like, incredible.
Yeah, especially, like, before watching The Father, I thought Chadwick Boseman's going to win actor in a leading role. Just because I know he's a good actor, and also just he died, and we know that Academy likes to sometimes just give you that a little bit of, like, push to get you appreciated.
Have you seen Mal Rainey's Black Bottom? Which he was...
Yes, and I don't know if this is just, like, I don't like some parts of the structuring of the film, or is it that I don't get it because this is completely not my experience, not my culture.
Do you think Chadwick Boseman stole that film? He was, like, as much as, like, Viola Davis was incredible, Chadwick Boseman stole that film. He's incredible in it. So even in the film's, like, it's a really good film, but Chadwick Boseman is what makes it incredible. Just everything he does in it is just so well done. So I say he's definitely the highlight of that film. Yeah,
he was really good. Like, that's also, like, I just thought he was going to win, and then I saw the fight, and I'm like, you guys got to set this.
It's a very powerhouse category this year, like, because you've got Anthony Hopkins.
Because also, like, Stephen Yeun was really good, and Minari, and...
And then you got... neither of us... Like, well, no, you've seen Sound of Metal. I'm waiting for the cinema because I've been told it's going to be incredible. But Riz Ahmed is good, and I think... I'm trying to remember what I've seen him else in, but he's definitely been in other things that I've seen on TV, and he's always been good in that. And in the trailer, it looks incredible. You can't look... a trailer can't pull you in that much unless they're a really good actor, I don't think.
I mean, he was good, but also, like, when I watched the film, I was like, yeah, but, like, he's not gonna win. It was not better than the other roles. But also, he's really fit. I'm sorry, but, like, it starts with, like, his routine of waking up in the RV, and he's, like, exercising, and I'm like...
Workout montage, and you're like,
nice
ooh.
Okay, hello, sir.
It's fair enough.
Also, he has great hair in that film. Characterization in Sound of Metal is really good. Like, they feel very modern.
Yeah.
And it was lovely to, like, see someone understand, like, very, very current niche fashion.
Because it also does a lot to do with the deaf community, which I think is quite nice to have in a film that's so awarded. Because I know it didn't win Best Sound Editing and some other stuff, so it's a good...
Yeah, and it should have. Yeah, like, it deserved it, because they do... Like, it's a really big thing of he joins, like, a community and he's like, yeah, I just need to, like, push through until I get my implants. Yeah. And he's being told, like, we don't fix your ears, we fix your mindset, because they are the deaf community with capital D. So they just embrace it and, just, like, not see it as a handicap. But also because he's a musician, he still wants to get implants, and then once he gets them, is that a spoiler? I mean, I think it's more important to have, like,
because it's, I think,
experiences around the events, I think. But like it's kind of like simulated how the world sounds to him.
Oh, yeah, that sounds cool.
And from what I know is like correct, because I do psychology, and we mentioned like cochlear implants and how different they make the world sound. Because this is not just like a normal hearing; it's a different version of sound. So they try to emulate that, and I think it's also like really important because when you don't realize the limitations of cochlear implants, it's difficult to understand like deaf community with capital D. Why would they not want to hear?
So with the implants, because I don't know much about them, is it like you said it uses a different type of sound. Do you know how it does that, or did they not cover that?
So basically, deafness is just like there's something wrong with your membrane or just like the receptors. So you get surgery and you have like something that signals directly to your brain information about sound. So I think that the little bits are like the tiny like microphones.
Well, still, anything going directly to the brain is always a bit dangerous, I imagine. So I can understand.
Yeah, I mean, like, the survival rate is good. I think it's not that is being criticised. But it's just expensive, and it's not the same as normal hearing, because, many people described it that way.
I'm excited to see it. I think it's always good when you talk to someone about the film and you still want to see it afterwards. Because sometimes you talk to someone, they're like, and then you're like, well, I'm not that fussed, but it's definitely a film that I still want to see, which is good.
Yeah. Also, I personally really like films about deafness. I really like seeing characters sign, even though I only know like a tiniest amount of British Sign Language. So I couldn't understand anything in that one, except for thank you. I think thank you is the same in both. But just like, I really like it. But my favourite one is like a French film. And, I can't remember, I don't know the British title, but like in Polish it's just like, we communicate without words. And it's so fun because it shows you very like intimate, very candid life of being deaf. So for example, when two deaf parents are arguing and one of them turns away, the other one just like goes to the light switch and just turns it on and off. That's their version of yelling, and I'm like, I love that. Is impressive.
I know that's Sheffield, I think. Remember?
Yeah.
But the readers, that's going to be lost on our listeners. So if you just go, you'll have to listeners will have to imagine.
Yeah, so it's like two fingers
like a cross
rubbed together. Yeah, it's like as if you were cutting something with cutlery.
Yeah, you're right. It's like that. So I guess listeners, if you can understand that, you can now sign Sheffield in British Sign Language.
Moving on. Yeah. Actor in supporting role. It was won by Daniel Kaluuya. Unfortunately, I was planning to see Judas and the Black Messiah, but I haven't yet. But Daniel Kaluuya has been great in everything I've ever seen him in, so I doubt this also wouldn't be online with Incredible. Yeah, like, I've heard he's a great actor, but also I haven't watched many of the films. Like, especially I know I will never watch Get Out because I just don't watch horror.
Yeah. I mean, what was it the other day? I was watching, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Webb and Mitchell show. Was it the Mitchell and Webb show? Basically, the people who made Peep's show, it was like their comedy sketch show.
Oh.
But Daniel's in that when he's young, and I keep watching it. It was like, hey, you're nominated. I guess now you're an Oscar winner. What are you doing here with playing a minor role in this? And it's just like he'll be in occasional sketches. So it's was he in Skins? I've never seen Skins, but it's a show that a lot of British actors are in when they're young.
Yeah,
but
it was very popular in between like old Polish teenagers.
Was it?
Yeah, because it's so edgy and everyone loved it. But I still haven't seen it. I really want to, but there are so many seasons.
Yeah, there's a lot of seasons. But I think maybe he was in that. I probably should check. But to be honest, everything else I've seen him in, he's incredible. So it doesn't surprise me that he also won for this, considering I haven't seen him do a bad role yet.
And also that film seems really exciting. Yeah. And also, like, the production was crazy. Like, I know that podcast I like made special episodes for advertising of Judas and the Black Messiah, so they even explain more and more about the Black Panther
party. Wow, that's a good sign when people are like, oh, I've got to talk about this even more.
Yeah.
The Black Panther Party, I don't know too much about them, but like occasionally they could like come up in, like, I did a module on American literature last year, and they like kept coming up. And there's so much that they did. Like I think they did a breakfast for kids scheme that just is often overwritten and stuff, because of course the American government were like, this is a threat, so we need to like cover up all the good they're doing for their community, because otherwise people will start agreeing with them and supporting them because they're trying to do good. So I think it's quite interesting that it's like a big film to be made to it. A lot of people talking about the Black Panthers now. I think it's important part of American history.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see that film and like learn more about it, because currently all I can say is that the members of the party looked sick in Trial of Chicago 7. Yeah, because they come in those like leather jackets and yeah, and they just like really look cool.
Wait, it's the trial. I haven't seen the Trial of Chicago 7 either. Is that also on the Black Panthers?
I mean, they are there because basically, like, there were 8 people on the trial. It's just 7 of the guys were like white guys who were actually taking part in the riots. And the 8th guy was a black man who just gave a speech and left the city. But because America is rotten, he was also on the trial. Constantly begging, just like, can I not be a part of this? I literally did not witness the happening. So like Black Panthers were in the audience of the trial to like support him. Yeah. Also, he didn't have a lawyer, and the judge ignored that fact.
I don't know much about law, but I'm pretty sure there's stuff in law saying that you have to have a lawyer, or at least have some form of defence provided for you, like a public defender.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's one of those films, isn't it? Being like, look how fucked up this is.
But also, I think that plot line is like well explored in Trial of Chicago 7. So yeah, I don't want to tell you like how it ends. But even though it didn't overpower the main story, it didn't feel brushed away.
Oh, that's good, because I feel like that shouldn't be brushed away. Jesus.
Yes.
But would you recommend watching Trial of Chicago 7?
Yes, I really liked it, and I was scared I'm going to be the only one because it's a long film about one trial. But I've heard other people enjoyed it as well, and I think it's really brilliant, and I love Sacha Baron Cohen in it. Like, yeah, I mean, Daniel Kaluuya must have been great in Judas and the Black Messiah because Sacha was great in Trial of Chicago 7. He was the only one who had to learn a dialect. Like, he had a speech, trainer, and was characterized, and he had to do a lot of research on the guy he was portraying. Also, like, the way they shot Trial of Chicago 7, they did a lot of, like, long shots just to give the editor a lot of room to work later, because they were in a lot of rush. So there's, like, very important monologue that Sacha gives, and he shot it, like, in 4 different versions, looking at different bits of the courtroom, just so they can edit it the way they want it to. But also, like, in that monologue, there's a bit that requires a reaction from Eddie Redmayne's character. So they recorded the whole speech, like Sacha was on the spot doing the speech, with camera pointed at Eddie Redmayne, just so they can get an authentic reaction from him.
That sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah. But apparently that was also like a quicker way to do that film, just to not have to do any reshoots.
I guess they probably figured it out in advance to make it easier for themselves. Good. Ooh. It does sound interesting. Should we move on to the next category? Because we're not doing a very good job at going through them. So it's actress in a leading role, won by Frances McDormand.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, in that category, I was betting on Vanessa Kirby. Also because I really loved Pieces of Women, and that was like the only nomination, and she was brilliant in it. But also like kind of just Frances McDormand felt like Frances McDormand.
Yeah.
Did she make me cry? Yes, so that was probably a good performance. But also it was just not something I have not seen before.
See, she is an incredible actress. I haven't seen it, but I can imagine how good it would be. Could also the film, it's half real life people. Isn't there 3 real actors and everyone else is real life people?
Yeah, like I think only Frances McDormand is like not a nomad.
Oh, so it's like, so that makes sense. So it's not just she's then also got to do the acting, but also has got to react to everyone else. So I can understand that must be a hard job.
But also, like, I think, like, the cast not being professionals, that was more a job for Chloe Zhao, and that's why I think she really deserved a directing award. Because, she directed them very well, and I was like thinking, because I didn't know they were actual nomads.
Oh,
I was
wow.
like, this feels very real.
If you can't pick up the fact that they're not actors, that's a very good job at directing. If you're like, it's all the same. Yeah,
because like it just felt like actual nomads, and I thought like if they were nomads and not actors, they would feel like I didn't see them being uncomfortable by the camera. So I thought maybe they, I don't know, did they reset and these are all actors, but they weren't. I was like, okay, this is great film. Oh god, now you may want to watch it even more, because you can tell from the trailer that it's beautifully filmed. Yes. Like, every shot in that trailer looks incredible. So I can imagine the entire film is just a stunning masterpiece. Yeah. Also, like, just the story feels surreal. Like, it starts with cars that say that there was a city that existed around a factory, and when it got shut down, everyone just like moved out, and within a couple of months, the zip code was removed. Oh wow! Yeah, so just the city got wiped out, and that's how like Frances McDormand's character starts her nomading journey. And I was like, how can you get rid of a city? This is a very American thing. Especially in a few months, because just surreal. Because if like usually for a city to go, you'd be like, yeah, that would take about 50 years. Or one really horrific event, but in a couple of months for them to be like, oh, well, let's remove the zip code. Yeah, that was the main source of, like, income for people in the city. They all move out to find jobs somewhere else. God. Is it, I've heard it's anti-capitalist, and assuming it's about, like, the factory gets shut down and everyone has to leave. Already sounds a bit like, it's got to critique America just as much as Black Judas and the Trial of Chicago 7. Yeah. Also, there are scenes in Nomadland where Frances McDormand works in Amazon warehouse, and I'm pretty sure it's an actual Amazon warehouse. Oh. And it looks like hell. Like, how mad is Jeff Bezos as we speak? Is the film on Amazon? Because that'd be really, really ironic. I don't know where it's released. I don't know how I watched that film. No, we all went to the cinema. Oh, it's on Disney Plus. Okay. So it's Disney definitely shading Amazon. But also, it just feels to say it like on Disney Plus. Okay. Yeah, it's an odd choice. I mean, she's in good company. Yeah. She's alongside Long Punch Studios of Folklore by Taylor Swift, so solid company. I was wondering what film you were going to name then, if like, what's on Disney Plus, and you got Taylor Swift, which is excellent, so I can't even criticise that, but... Yeah, I mean, I could say Soul, which is a great film, but it's not surprising. Oh, yeah, but Soul won, didn't it? Didn't it win Best Animated Feature? Yes. Yeah, and also won for music, which was to be seen. Like, I must admit, I've heard an odd song or two off it, and I'm like, this is just a beautiful sound. It's John Baptiste who does the soundtrack, isn't it, or plays a character? Yeah. But he's the pianist on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, so that's how I knew about. Oh, yeah, he's the guy. I love him. Yeah, so he's like a great guy. So I was like, yeah, give him an Oscar. He seems like a right lad, lovely guy. Give him an Oscar. So, but you could tell from the fact that like when he plays on the show that he's talented. So I knew it was going to be a good soundtrack, because you don't get people with talent making a bad soundtrack. Yeah, and also just the film is brilliant. Oh god, but we gotta move on to that because now actress in a supporting role. Yep. Yeah, won by Yoo Jung-yoon. She gave like really adorable speech that reminded me of Olivia Colman's speech last 2 years ago. But also, like, I think she felt really, like, humbled by the award, and she kind of, like, said something that seemed to hint that she won, like, just because she's Korean.
Ah, because she's the first Korean
which
woman to win in the category, isn't she?
She probably is, yeah. But that could be also, like, her being way too humble.
Yeah.
Because she's great in that film.
Also, with the people she's up against, that's not an easy category to win, so I think she must be being humble. Because Glenn Close is stunning. Olivia Colman, we already know, is stunning. Amanda Seyfried is also great. And Maria Bakalova, is that how you pronounce it?
Maria Bakalova, yeah. But to be fair, I betted on Maria Bakalova because not only she's, like, fresh out of school, Bora is a very difficult film to make, like, especially very different from anything else, because, like, my friend was like, oh, Bora has so many nominations, but it's a stupid comedy. But I mean, it is stupid, but it's a political satire, and it's so well thought, like, the gags.
Also, she's incredible in it, considering because everyone knows Borat because it was, like, really big. So she essentially carries the film, and she is incredible with stuff that she does in the way, like, she just interacts with people. Like, honestly, she is what makes that film incredible. So of course she should have been nominated. She did a really good job.
Yeah, she was fantastic, and just, like, the way they do Borat is, like, she and Sasha would, like, practice the improv before. But once they go out in a while, you get one shot, and if she does, like, any slips, it's going to be on the tape.
Didn't she audition by doing, like, a 3-hour improv session with him, and at the end they were like,
probably, but, like, the casting process was really long. They considered, like, 600 actresses.
No wonder they got the best one. Like,
also, like, she said she sent in her audition tape because it started with tapes, just, like, randomly at 5 a.m. because she had no idea what a production is, because you can't say you're making Borat. It's like, this is a film we can't tell you about. We just need you to send in the tape, and she did. Randomly, and then they replied, and she's like, what if it's a scam? But she sent in, like, some more tapes, and then they were like, go to London, and she went in not knowing what she's making. Also, ever since she left for London, I think that, which was like 2 years ago, she still have not been back in Bulgaria.
Really?
Yeah, because, also the pandemic and
I completely forgot about the pandemic. Well, I've been watching that many Oscar films that I was like, they only exist in that world now, and I forgot about this pandemic that's been ruining our lives for years. Jesus, this is how good the films are. The Father completely made me forget that the pandemic exists.
But also, that's why we love film so much. We are having a podcast about it because, like, I like my life, but also I love escapism.
We love escaping this current world of events.
Yeah. Also, have you seen Hillbilly Elegy?
I haven't, but I've seen other movies with John Glenn Close. Like, I saw The Wife a couple of years ago, and she's incredible in that. And so I imagine she's good in this. Also, she terrified me as a kid in 101 Dalmatians.
My mum saw the film and she said that Glenn Close was great. I still haven't watched that. And, like, I know the name Glenn Close, so she must be, like, famous and just, like, believed to be great. But I can't remember any of her roles.
Do you recognise the name Glenn Close because of Drag Race, and Joe Black makes a lot of references to Glenn Close?
Oh my god, what if that was
because this
could have been it.
No, because in the song there's like Glenn Close but no cigar, which is a reference to like 101 Dalmatians, I think. So it's like it's okay if that's where you recognise the name from. Because to be honest, I don't think half the time you only know actors and actresses' names unless they're really good or you see them everywhere. She's really good, but I also don't think she's not. You know how, like, every few years there's some, like, young 20-year-olds who are really commercial and they're in every film for about 5 years and they, like, fall off the radar a bit. She's not, like, one of those names. I don't think we'd recognise her as much, but I think others would. She's still an incredible actress. It's nothing against it, just the fact that
Yeah, like, I am excited to watch her in Hillbilly Elegy. I just haven't yet, so I don't know what the role is. To be fair, like, I have very little idea what Hillbilly Elegy is about. I've heard it's, like, has something to do with Yale University.
Because from the images, she looks very different. I think it's to do with like redneck America maybe versus Yale. Then it's got something to do with Yale, because I know almost like if you look from the pictures of Glenn Close in it, that it looks like she's falling as that more of a redneck, rougher part of society.
That would explain the hillbilly.
Yeah. Either way, it's got a great name. Hillbilly Elegy is a great name, even if it's nothing else.
Yeah, but also Yi Jung-yun was great. However, my problem with Minari is I would recommend watching it with closed captions, because in my version only Korean was subtitled for obvious reasons, but also like she's meant to be a Korean lady who never lived in the US, not like the family in which the children were born in the US. And they actually speak very little Korean in the film. So she starts picking up English from them. But because of English and Korean not sharing all of the sounds in both languages, her English sounds very, very different from normal English. And I sometimes could not understand her. And I was like, I really wish there were subtitles. And also, on top of that, the rest of characters that spoke English that were not part of that family were like Arkansas farmers.
So that deep,
with thick,
that thick accent.
So I could not understand them either.
That's fair enough. I think it's almost a good, if you can't understand it, it shows that the accents are actually regional. Because I've had that in class sometimes where the international students been like, well, yeah, we don't understand this northern accent, so we couldn't get the film. It's like, yeah, that's fair enough. It's a very thick accent, and so I imagine, so subtitles probably, I think the subtitles always help.
Yeah, I really like closed captions, especially if I want to eat during the film.
Eating during the film, especially because a lot of these films are 2 hours, around the 2 hour mark, or just over or just under. They're not exactly a short film, so you might want a snack, you might want to have a drink of water, so I think subtitles are always a winner, no matter what.
Animated feature film.
Soul won that one, haven't we mentioned?
Yeah. I also saw Onward, which was great.
I've been told it does the traditional Disney thing of giving you a sucker punch to the heart.
Yeah. Like, I watched both Soul and Onward on the same day because we were just watching films on Christmas. And yeah, actually, I think Onward made us cry more than Soul. Because Soul is, like, very meaningful.
Yeah.
But I'm not, like, I'm gonna make you cry. No. You're gonna leave the cinema and you're gonna be like, what's my purpose?
Oh, so we love an uplifting kids film rather than one that's there to make you cry for a bit.
No, but it's the worst part. Like, kids are going to be fine. They will just not think about it. It's you who thought you're going to just have a chill afternoon, not really have to look after your kid, just sit in the dark. And you watch that film alongside them and you just leave traumatized, and the children's like, I want ice cream.
And you're like, hold on, I've got to debate the entire meaning of my life, your lives, and everyone else's lives. Thank you very much. Give me half an hour.
Yeah.
Is it the film where, like, you go put your kids to bed and then you come down and get a glass of wine and just sit there thinking about everything in the universe while staring into the silence in case one of them wakes up?
Exactly. Yeah, but Soul is brilliant. Like, I am very impressed with their idea of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, but also, like, I don't want to explain to the listeners what it is about, because, like, I was given the very basic, no spoilers description of the film. But also it ruined the first 5 minutes for me. This is recently my problem a lot. Like, many films want to have, like, a tiny twist in introduction of their universe in the beginning. But because we assume that the first quarter is given as something you can describe as the plot of the film, people tell you that, and, like, I don't think that was fair to the film. They designed it to be a little surprise.
Okay, so let's not spoil it for the readers. Let's just keep it, like, everyone should go watch it.
Yeah, watch it with good sound, really good sound. You want to hear all that jazz. And also just set some time afterwards for some aftercare. I'm
realising from the lineup, a lot of these are music based. Like, if you've got, like, Sound of Metal, Mara Rainey's Black Bottom, you've got Soul, and then it's either seems to be that or America Sucks category with Black Judas. Is it Black Judas and the Messiah, Nomadland, and like I feel like those are the two themes of this year's Oscar. Like, let's have some funky music and also America sucks.
Although, admittedly, Sound of Metal has very little music, which is I was actually relieved because, like, Sound of Metal starts with a metal song.
Oh, yeah.
And I am not the biggest fan of metal music because it makes me anxious.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what have I gotten myself into? I had no idea what it is about, so I actually thought it's going to be about a metal band.
So you really went in completely blind with that one.
Yeah, because I really like to do that. I like the film to speak for itself. Yeah. So, because sometimes you would like see a plot hole in a film, but fill it with knowledge you have from descriptions or reviews.
Oh yeah, so you just want to see it, just what the film gives you rather than everything else.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And then like be able to pick on the like bad storytelling if I see any gaps.
Yeah. Well, that's reasonable, because if you can pick on the gaps, then it's not that good. If you can see the gaps, it's like, it's film's designed for everyone, but you should cover it up. Cover those plot holes. Like, get some like plaster and just paint over it. Don't know where I'm going with that metaphor. We should probably move on.
Cinematography won by Mank. I don't know why.
Really?
Never in watching of my viewing of Mank, I was just like, this is a really beautiful shot. Unlike when I was watching Nomadland.
Yeah. Do you think this is definitely just Hollywood giving themselves a pat on the back? That's kind of like, they can't openly go, this is an excellent film, but it's about Citizen Kane, which all of Hollywood has been talking about ever since it's been made. And it's like, do you think it's very much like, well, we won't give ourselves a big award, but we'll give ourselves a little one and just give a little pat on the back?
Yeah. Or maybe they were like following the trend because they recently liked giving cinematography to black and white films.
Oh, they do love a black and white film, don't they?
Yeah, but they were black and white films that also like thought about composition. Like,
yeah.
I mean, Mank's composition is not like bad, but it's not spectacular. It's just black and white. It just looks like a old film, and this is it. And while Trial of Chicago 7, for example, you have that like mix of like, oh, how many people are we showing like in a shot? How close do we get to characters? Because it's very much just like people reacting to what they say to each other. So that's also like good cinematography. Especially like they somehow made it not boring. And also I know that in Trial of Chicago 7 they changed the lighting. Like it was very important that they have windows because the trial goes on for months.
Oh. So
they actually emulated how light looks like in the spring and how it looks like in the autumn.
That is dedication to it. Yeah, that's impressive to even think about. Do you even think about doing the seasons through the windows rather than just?
I would never think of that. And yeah, like once I was told that, I'm like, yeah, maybe autumn is more blue. Maybe. But
also then to think of it, to research it, and then figure out how to recreate it. To be honest, I must admit, Trial of Chicago 7 was one of the ones I was like, if you get round to watching it, you get round to it, but it wasn't high up on my list of, like, these are the films I want to watch of this year's winners. But the more you talk about them, I'm like, I actually really want to watch this.
It's really good. Also, like, we're going to get to it, like, in the script, but there was, like, really good interview with Sasha and Aaron Sorkin about the script, and also maybe even more appreciates Trial of Chicago 7 even more. I really like that film. I was surprised. It's like 2 hours of trial. This is it. But it's brilliant.
Honestly, because I haven't had anyone who's seen it. It just wasn't on my radar to watch, but it sounds like the level of detail and care that's gone into it, and now it makes sense how much you like it versus how many categories it's been nominated in, because it surely wouldn't have been nominated that much if it was just an okay film. Maybe I've overlooked it. Maybe that's one I should be pushing. So I guess listeners, go watch it, comment on it, like send us messages what you think. Like, God.
Yeah. And also, unless you really like old Hollywood and Citizen Kane, maybe skip Mank. Really, like, I felt like I was wasting my time because I was watching films every day this week. And I actually took a break in between watching Mank, which I never do. I hate doing that. But I was just like, it's midnight, and this film is not good enough for me to lose sleep over
this. That's not a good sign, because the amount of times I'll start a film being like, if it's a meh film, I'll pause it and restart it in the morning, and then you get sucked into it, you're like, oh fuck, it's 3 a.m. The fact that Mank couldn't do that is not a good sign, considering it's got such a good cast, and considering it seems... Oh, that's disappointing.
I don't know what is wrong with that film, but I hate it. Yeah, costume design won by Ma Rainey's. I mean, I know very little about American women's fashion of that time, so I couldn't even tell if it was good or not.
I think you can, because I don't know that much, but I think you can tell by the fact that all the suits they're wearing, even like, because there's a big thing Chadwick Boseman's character has to do with a pair of shoes.
Yeah, the shoes are glorious.
The shoes are glorious. The way that they're made, and that you can tell they've like almost been made, and like the outfits do seem like they're not trying to... They just seem like really good outfits, and they do fit the very well. So whilst I'm not an expert on it, it does fit in with my mental image of what I think would be worn at that time, and like what style and stuff. It does seem like it's been well researched. I don't know. It might be a complete fashion stories might be like, this is the worst like thing done since Little Women, but like it seemed like it just seemed right. Nothing seemed out of place. You know, when you sometimes watch a film, you're like, that doesn't quite look right there in that like period piece, but this nothing stood out. It all seemed to fit.
Yeah, but to be fair, I am just waiting for Karolina Żebrowska. She's like a fashion YouTuber to make video and like, thank you for doing research for me.
This is what I love about the internet, is you could be like, I don't know if this is right or not, and then you'll go on YouTube and there'll be some person who's got a real niche knowledge of like fashion history and just be like, well, this is what's right, this is what's wrong. Yes, they did good, or no, they did bad. Thank God there are other people out there doing all this niche research, so we don't have to spend hours doing it.
And also, I would really recommend her channel overall. She's like also funny.
I've seen a few of her videos, they're good.
Okay, directing.
Nomadland.
Very deserved. Chloe Zhao.
Yeah.
Yes. Especially like, because a lot of the time, I don't know what good directing entails. So for example, in Minari, I think it's a great film and the actors are good. So it's like, what was the challenge in a way? Like, I know there was a challenge. I just don't know how to tell good directing from good acting and a good script.
Because that's true, because usually directing is like, just direct it, but with Nomadland, you're not only just directing stuff that's in your control, you're directing this wilderness that you can't really control because it's the wilderness, and you can direct people who aren't professionally trained. So you've added 2 challenges to something that doesn't usually have... I mean, I imagine directing is quite challenging, but also not in the same way as it is Nomadland. So yeah, deserve to win that. We both agree on that.
Yeah. Especially, he was nominated, Thomas Württemberg, for another run. Which is, like, nice that we start to see international films, like, slip into another categories, because it used to be never the case.
Yeah. But there's so many good international films, and I think Hollywood reflects the market, because Hollywood thinks it's the most important thing in the world, as we could tell through Mank. But like, there's so many good international films, and honestly, I think it's only in the last 3 years I've really been watching international films, and there's so many good ones. So I think by having more international films in the Oscars, then it widens people's like view and what they're going to watch, because there are so many good ones. And another round I haven't seen, but I so desperately want to see, from like the trailer, like everything I've seen about it just makes it look excellent. So I'm like, I just want to watch it, and it's good to see it like given the extra platform of the Oscars, because it's an international film.
Especially like when they were just kept to the international film category, it was like as if the fact that films were international made them inherently lower category.
It's like a medal of participation you get for like turning up. It's like, no, sometimes those films are probably better than the ones that did win. Like, I've got a list of films here that did win over the last few years. Green Book didn't deserve to win, and I haven't seen Crash, but from the name I can guess it probably is at like the level of higher of Nomadland or Parasite. just for the name, I might be wrong, but just like...
Yeah, what year was that? I don't even remember.
2006. Also, Shakespeare in Love annoys me in that one in 1999. Just because they make Shakespeare look like this cool ladies' man. I'm like, he married a woman like, I think 10 years older than him. He got pregnant out of wedlock and just wrote poetry non-stop. If you had someone today who was in love with someone older than him and was writing her poems, you'd be like, that's a nerd. And they're like, no, we're going to make him this like cool, suave guy who gets seduced by like Gwyneth Paltrow. But it's like, no. He was a nerd. No person who writes 300 sonnets is someone who's cool and suave. Like, let's pull that back. Let's get rid of that Shakespeare slander. Because also Shakespeare died on his what they think is his birthday after a 3-day birthday bender. Don't loop him in with the cool kids. He was the alcoholic writing Mank. That's not a theory. It's not confirmed, but it's a main theory that he did go out drinking, then got sick and died. So we're just like, birthday bender went a bit too far, but good for him.
I mean, he went down doing what he loved.
It explains to English students, but whenever you meet them, you're like, oh, you are just following all in Shakespeare's footsteps. Okay, that's just.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't know if it's 100% true, but it's a theory that I've been told, and I'm going with it because it makes it better. It makes it more cool to study in school. But, documentary feature. I actually saw the winner. I haven't seen the others, but My Octopus Teacher.
I only saw Crypt
Camp. Is it a good one?
Yeah, because we were meant to show it at Film Unit before the wrong things. I saw it just normally in my bedroom on Netflix, but it's so good. Especially, I really appreciate insight in disability community because it's so diverse.
Yeah.
It's like you don't even know where to start your research. And like, I would like to understand your life, but I don't know how to do it. And they're just like, yeah, so this is how it looks like, and they make jokes about cerebral palsy. And like, okay, they are really fucking cool. They're like very hippie, and also they are being activists. And like, this is really cool.
That's cool. I would recommend My Octopus Teacher because it's quite interesting. Because of course, it's this guy who studies this one octopus over, I think, the course of a year, if I remember correctly. But half of it's like these panoramic, these really nice shots with like a drone over the ocean. And the other half of it is his body cam footage, because of course it was an experiment he was doing. So it's like he just had a little body cam on when he was like diving. So half of it's that, and the other half of these really pretty shots, and then like cutaways to him talking about the research and about like the life of an octopus. And it's just really nice because it also shows you how he forms a connection with this creature that's so alien to us. Like, octopuses are really weird when you think about them. They're just such a weird...
Yeah, they have the capacity to take over.
They are just so weird that we're never going to understand them, but they like form a connection, and it's just... Because usually in like nature documentaries, they're like, you're going to have that level of removedness, so you just record what happened, but he's there and he kind of befriends it, and it's basically just a really lovely thing to watch. It's just a lovely little story. Like, I would recommend watching it, just because it's also, I miss the ocean, I miss being able to go to the beach, and just seeing clips of the sea is like, yeah, this will soothe my missing of holidays.
Yeah. It's interesting because I've heard someone describe My Octopus Teacher as just like a man bodies an octopus for a year while I think he was becoming a father, he's a father and he didn't see his son.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I guess if you're is he a marine biologist or is it more specific? But like, if you're having to go away for research to these places where there's like these niche species of octopuses, you are gonna guess not be home too much. But also, his son is, I think he has a son. I think his son's in it at one point and is taken to beat the octopus, which is an odd thing to be like, come meet the octopus I spent the last year with. It's like, it's an odd relationship, but it's just a nice thing to watch, and you can watch it in I think whilst doing work or in the background and eating dinner. It's just a nice, simple thing to watch. It's pretty, has a nice story, tells you about octopuses. I don't know what more you want.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna watch it, just like out of curiosity, and I just want to look at an octopus for like an hour and a half.
We just want an excuse to do that. Move it.
Yeah, film editing. I wanted Promising Young Woman to win that one because it has many like very nice montages.
Yeah, it does have,
and I found them to be really well done.
I found that entire film to be really well done because I was not expecting that much. Because I saw the trailer and was like, oh, it looks okay, and then it blew me away. It's honestly, I think it's one of my favourite films of all time. I love it. Like the weird, like brightly coloured pastel, almost like pastel and bright coloured sets of everything with the soundtrack that has like a covers of like Toxic and It's Raining Men, as well as Paris Hilton singing at one point on the soundtrack in a pharmacy.
Yes.
Excellent. Like, the characters of, like, Cassie is just such an interesting character. Like, she's so morally great. You can never really condemn her or support her. She's just wonderful. And it's just... And the casting, the way they've chosen... Like, they casted all these, like, male characters in it, often as, like, these male comedians. It's...
Yeah, Bob Burnham. Oh, my God. He's so good.
But, like, I love the way they cast these people that people kind of know and are familiar with. But because that we know from them for their previous role, because they cast like Smith from New Girl in it at one point, and so like it's people you trust because you've seen them in these things, and they play with that really well. And like Bo Burnham's character in it is great. I just really love this film. I didn't expect to. It's one of those I was like, this is going to be meh, and then it blew me away.
Oh, I mean, I was hyped for it. Especially, I was just like, oh, she's going to murder rapists. I want to see that. And also it really gave me Assassination Nation
it
vibes.
Did, yeah. It's very much Assassination Nation vibes, but less violent, I'd say.
Definitely less violent. Assassination Nation is an extremely
I'm now remembering
film.
someone having their throat slit in the bathroom in Assassination Nation, the blood going everywhere. So yeah, Young Promising Woman isn't too violent, I'd say. It's just...
It's very psychological, really.
I don't know where I could start. I just really like it. I didn't expect much from it, and it keeps you on your toes. At no point can I tell you what was going to happen the next half an hour. Like, I kept checking the time, being like, how are we only, like, 20 minutes in and all this has happened?
Yeah, and also, just, like, the ending. Like, I don't want to say anything what happens, because you viewers, listeners, deserve to just be surprised, be amazed by what the fuck happened.
Jesus fucking Christ. Like... There's storytelling, and then there's that. Like...
Yeah, that's why I won the script. I'm just like...
Yeah, it deserved to win with that. Naturally. Honestly, I just watch it. Like, it keeps you on your toes. It's great. Like, Carrie Mulligan's great throughout. She's so good at it. Just, yeah. Please go watch that.
However, but because, like, we mentioned... that, but the film editing won Sound of Metal, which actually I got surprised by, because I was like, I don't think there was a point where I was like, oh, this is very brilliant editing. Like, The Father, for example, has definitely great editing, and it's really reliant on its editing.
I thought it was more reliant on its set design, because if you the way the sets are used, because that's how I could tell it's like a play. The way the sets are used is very clever, so you could almost. The editing you could do, I think, could almost be done worse, and the sets would and the characters would carry it.
But it's also like the idea. I can't even say who's like responsible for it, but like their rooms change their positions. Did you notice?
And the walls change their colour and stuff.
Yeah, so you don't have. Yeah, so you don't have like a set flat, and they also changed that, but also I think like the layout was changed by editing.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I haven't seen the play to compare it,
and also like the timing was very crucial.
Yeah,
like because the Father is just like going sometimes really fast and then really slow and then really fast and then really slow, and you need to like edit that well to like keep that dynamic going on as like very chaotic, very like stormy.
Yeah, that's true. The editing was good. But then again, I haven't seen Sound of Metal. Sound of Metal might have some really impressive editing that I just haven't seen. But to be honest, that's a really strong category anyway for crosses. So it's got to be a good editing for it to be like Trial of Sheba, Promising Young Woman, No Man Land, and The Father, which are all incredible. So, and then the next one,
international feature. Yeah, I have not seen.
Haven't, but I will watch another round as soon as emotionally recovered from The Father.
Yeah, I really want to watch that one. I'm probably going to watch Better Days because I really started liking like Chinese films. Yeah. And also, like, when they were showing clips from The Man Who Sold His Skin, it seems really interesting.
The name is incredibly interesting. I've never... Like, The Man Who Sold His Skin, it's like, immediately I'm like, how? What? Why? Let's get in on this. So, let's face it, I'm going to go watch that one as well. It's such a good name.
Maybe we could, because to be fair, I'm just thinking now, because they might be difficult to get online.
Are you thinking
maybe we could show them on Film Unit, because we are reopening in May.
God, yes. But so listeners, if you want to see these films, please message in, because we have we're powerless to what the people want. If the people want to watch The Man Who Sold His Skin, we'll show The Man Who sold his skin. Yeah, so just please message in telling us to show, because we will.
Yeah, any communication channel. You can send pigeons.
Yeah, we'll give you pigeons a bit of corn and send them on their way back to you once you drop the message off. We'll be good. We'll look after those pigeons.
Yeah, makeup and hairstyling was won by Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and I actually got surprised by it, because, like, maybe Viola Davis was perfectly glossy because she was meant to be sweaty in the film, but also her makeup was very, very, very smudged, and it could be a very deliberate decision, but at the end, at the credits, they show pictures of actual Ma Rainey, and she looked neat.
Yeah, but those are the photos. It might have been on a day-to-day, that's what she looked like, but for the photos, they were like, you've got to look better. I liked it. I liked the smudge make, because it kind of played into her character of who she was more.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking, like, whether that was a reflection of also, like, who she was, or, like, interpretation of, like, her personality, or was that just a reflection of how she would usually, like...
Well, I guess either way, it's just good makeup and hairstyling. Like, it was just good. The only other one that I haven't seen, Pinocchio. Mankind Magic.
Yeah, I didn't even realise there was Pinocchio this year.
I haven't seen anything to do with Pinocchio. I couldn't tell you. Like, I still thought it was a cartoon. I didn't see Emma, but I saw all my friends raved about Emma, so I saw that was good with the hair. And then Hillbilly Elegy, Glenn Close looks like a hillbilly in that. And then Mank, I imagine, is just recreating all the old styles. So, but Hollywood's been doing those hairstyles since Hollywood was doing those hairstyles.
I mean, Amanda Seyfried looks great, but also, can she do different? Like, she's always stunning.
Yeah, I feel like with Amanda Seyfried, you can't be like, oh, it's the makeup. Like, she is so stunning. Like, she could probably have the worst makeup in the world. You'd still be like, she's beautiful. Like, I feel, it's not really a challenge when the person is absolutely stunning to make them look better. Like, no.
Yeah.
If you look that good already, you don't need to worry about having good makeup. So I could have said that. And then you got original song.
Oh, they did so badly this category, because obviously the winner should be Husavik. Obviously. Have you seen that film?
I haven't, but I did see a lot of people hyping it up, which I think means it's good. Thing is, I was too busy being dramatic and missing actual Eurovision. I was like, I don't know if I can watch Rachel McAdams doing Eurovision and stuff, but I imagine it would have been exactly what you want. But also, Eurovision is a very European thing. Hollywood might not like Eurovision. We all love Eurovision.
Yeah, like, that film makes a lot of fun of Americans. I mean, it's an American film, but they often just say, like, stupid Americans, blah, blah, blah. But just, Eurovision is a brilliant film. Like, so nicely done. Like, they understood Eurovision. Yeah. It's very funny, and this song is great. Like, I actually listened to that song outside of the film.
Oh.
And all the other songs were just like typical Oscar songs. Yeah. Quite boring. Like, I was surprised that the song from Trial of Chicago 7 was nominated, because like, there was a song there.
Yeah, if you have to be shocked at the fact you can hit as a song, I don't think that's a good sign.
Yeah, and I've listened to all of the songs, and they are all really underwhelming, except for Husavik.
Ah. So once again, the people who lost Eurovision were the people who shouldn't have lost. It's always the way with Eurovision. It's always like a song you really like that comes third.
Yeah. So they should have.
Is it like Conchita versus Rise Like a Phoenix? That's one of the best, I think, Eurovision songs of all time. That's what I'm like holding in my head about levels.
I don't think it will beat it. But also, like, many people I've talked to about that song, they were like, yeah, it sounds like it would genuinely win Eurovision.
Yeah.
Like, actual contest.
Well, that's good. We always want someone to actually... Yeah, I can imagine that. Well, to be honest, I mean, anyone who's not from Britain's going to win Eurovision, so let's face it. That's the... Yeah, I don't know what a winning Eurovision award-winning song is, because I'm from England, we never win. Because we are...
I mean, you can listen to all of
That's
them.
true.
You probably have, because, like, many of them, like, slip later into radio. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
Eurovision.
There was one I remember being like, oh, I really heard it before it was on Eurovision. I was like, this is where it's from? Eurovision? And you're like, didn't expect that curveball. And then I guess, what other categories we've got left? We got Best Picture.
Best Picture. Yeah, this was very good year. Like, I told you before, like, people criticize this year for films, but it was great, especially, like, because blockbusters were delayed because they are made to make money and they would not make as much this year. Smaller films could rise to the top, and they did.
That's good. I always think Oscars should be more about the small budgets rather than and the international films rather than like these big ones, because the big ones already have the platform. The Oscars should be giving the platform to the ones that actually like are good and deserve it.
I mean, you also get like independent cinema awards for that.
That's true. But also, who pays attention to them as much as people do the Oscars.
That's also true. But you just need to steer the market. Just like, we want the indie shit.
That's true. We do want the indie shit.
Yeah, Nomadland won. And I am happy about it, although I rated The Father higher than Nomadland. Yeah, like, on Letterboxd, I think I got Father 5 stars, Promising Young Woman 4.5, then Minari and Nomadland each 4, and I think also Sound of Metal and Trial of Chicago 7 also 4. Only Man got like 1.5 because it's garbage.
Yeah, so basically it's a really strong year, because sometimes I think you look at these categories and you're like, how is that nominated for Best Picture when there's other ones that are like better? So I'm this year, at least you can, other than like your opinion on Mank, but all of them are very strong films, and usually you have like one or two, you're like, well, it's going to be between those two. Like, as much as everyone loves La La Land, I haven't seen it, but I really liked Moonlight that year. But I also haven't seen. I can't remember what else was nominated alongside of it. But basically, usually there aren't that many strong films in the top, I don't think.
Wait, you forgot who ran against Moonlight?
Well, other than La La Land.
Yeah, like.
Well, they technically won it for a few minutes.
Yeah.
God, at least that didn't happen this year.
Oh gosh. Especially it would be so much mess, because probably like the camera people know already, so they prepare to switch to someone's like Zoom screen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it would be chaos.
I'm just going to ask you categories. Have you seen If Anything Happens, I Love You, the short film animated?
Oh gosh, yes.
That, I don't know how it makes you cry in about 8 minutes, but then feel good in about 12. I don't understand how it does that. It just, it's just,
especially like this is like a fear of mine. Like I've never lived in a country that not had a gun control, so I never really was at risk of gun shooting. But gun shooting in film and shows is like the most scary thing to me that can happen.
It's so horrifying, and it's just this. This is the thing about this is it deals with the aftermath, but you don't see like the violence and stuff. Because often I think when they do like school shooting plots and stuff, they kind of go do the whole like violence plot and they push that, and I'm like, no, you've got to deal with the aftermath. Like I watched in the summer, I watched a documentary about what was the one in Florida? Was it Park Hill? Or was it...
That sounds about.
I watched a documentary about the kids afterwards going in like protesting for like gun regulation and stuff, but it's unfortunately such a big problem in America, and unfortunately the amount of parents who are going to relate to this short is far too many. But it's the way it shows family stuff, and it's just also the title, If Anything Happens, I Love You. It's like, I think we already have a fear like the last time you see someone you love is the last time you see someone you love, but when it's something that's so preventable like a school shooting, I don't know what I'd do. I honestly don't know how I'd deal with anything to do with that. Yeah, that really dragged it down.
Yeah, but it was so...
It's the way it's drawn beautifully as well, and I like how it's all black and white.
Yeah.
Apart from like the daughter's shirt and stuff, and it's just it's listeners. It's brilliant. 12 minutes. Just go watch it. Maybe with a tissue. Actually, take a tissue. Let's be realistic. But it's such a beautiful, and it gets so much in about grief and about love in such a short amount of time that it's incredible. Because you do see like long films that do a good portrayal of grief and stuff, but I've never seen that it's so quite concise, actually really well captures grief and hindsight and looking back, and just but
I'm happy it won.
It bruised my heart permanently, but I'm happy it won.
Yeah, and also I just hope that because it won, more people will watch it and support gun control. We
can only hope. Only hope.
Moving on to short film live action, I have not seen.
Neither. Let's go with next category. Sound.
Naturally.
It's got sound in the title. It can't do a bad job. Visual effects. I
I guess that the Tenet's going to win, but I have not seen it.
No, I haven't either. But it's one of those where it's like it was probably going to win, because the only one I've heard of on there is Mulan, and I didn't want that to win.
Oh yeah, I want Mulan to be forgotten. But also in Tenet, like, I wonder, because they say just visual effects, not just digital effects, because, for example, I know that for Tenet, they exploded a Boeing, because it was cheaper to do that than make it in CGI.
I love how that's the cheaper option. Like, hold on, can we blow up an aeroplane, because it's the cheaper option. Incredible. It deserves an Oscar for just going, yeah, we're going to blow up a plane.
Yeah, but also, like, vintage, no longer CGI,
let's go back to blowing up shit.
Stuff.
I think in the year 2022, we want to see your films actually set fire to shit and blow stuff up. Let's go back.
However, with some historical sensitivity, because there was a whole drama in Poland that, for the purpose of a Hollywood film, they wanted to blow up, like, a very old bridge in Poland, and they almost got permission from, like, this, like, council, and people were like, are you joking? Are you gonna blow up a bridge for a film? Like,
I don't know what, because also, an historical bridge is like a landmark. Bridges are practical, you need them. But also, to go and blow it up for a film might not even be a good film. And what do you do then? You're like, oh, yeah, we let this terrible film blow up this bridge instead of a historical purpose. Like, I can't believe that nearly got through. Yeah, don't go blowing up historical landmarks and stuff. Just
especially in 2021 when CGI is so good.
Yeah, CGI and Photoshopping and everything. You can just do it. Don't blow up historical stuff. Unless you build a historical, like, was it the Ten Commandments where they just built a bunch of pyramids and sphinxes in the desert in, like, the 1930s or 20s to make the, like, Ten Commandment film, and they've just left them there. Because they filmed it in the desert, they've all been covered up, so occasionally someone will come across, like, this is this giant sphinx we found in the desert, and we have been made for this film. I think it's the Ten Commandments. But there's just, like, old pyramids just left that have been covered in sand, and people occasionally come across and going, that's a pyramid. We don't have pyramids in... Now I'm trying to remember the state. Nevada? But, yeah.
Oh, this is hilarious. Yeah. Oh, nice.
Old Hollywood should go back to building stuff in the desert and then blowing it up, and then... but,
yeah, okay, adapted screenplay.
The Father, we both agreed that's excellent.
Yeah. Also, like, Nomadland was well adapted. Yeah, I was actually surprised that Borat was here, because from what it was adapted...
It's adapted? I didn't realise Nomadland or Borat were adapted.
Yeah, Nomadland is based on a book that it's, like, autobiographical.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so this is adapted, but, like, what is Borat based? Because it just says, like, screenplay by Sasha and other people, story by Sasha. So it's like, they just assume that the story is a separate source that they put onto screen, but, like...
Because most of it is improvised, and the story comes from the reactions of other people to the story they are making, so maybe it's something to do with that.
No, they have a script. They predict quite well what people will say. Yeah, like, it's all guesses, but they have a script in which they plan for how they anticipate people are going to react to them.
Because some of the stuff they do, and they get if they predicted all of that right, how people react, they must have some psychologists on that being like, yeah, this is how people will probably react to you. Or they just judge people the correct amount.
But it's not even actual psychologists. It's just Sasha saying, like, if I'm going to go to a bakery and make that lady write something racist on a cake, she's not going to say a word.
Oh, God, I've forgotten that scene.
And then they...
Oh, God. That's true, because they, like... Oh, Jesus, I forgot half the horrible stuff that happened in that. I was just thinking about... It was the lady.
Yeah, like, longer you think about that, none of their side characters are actors and are actual people saying what they believe, like the priest who tries to stop 15-year-old girl pregnant with her father because that's how he imagines the situation.
Yeah, I remember that.
He literally says it's okay that they are having a baby, supposedly.
Yeah, we're gonna move past that.
He was saying what he believed in.
Yeah, we're gonna move past that because we're not gonna endorse that, because that is completely fucking wrong. And if you believe that, please stop listening and never come back. And then writing original screenplay. Promising Young Woman deserved to win. I haven't seen the others, but...
Yes. Yeah, especially I think this is, like, the biggest strength of Promising Young Woman to me, the story.
Honestly. And considering I'm now on my second degree of essentially stories, and I've like studied plots and stuff in depth, the fact that I could very rarely predict where this was going. A lot of films you kind of can, but at this point, at no point, I was constantly on my toes and no clue where it was going. Even the way up to the end, you're like, this can't be going this way, or it's got to be able to go this way. And it's just so well done. Like the writing, the characters, the plot. Honestly, yeah, deserved to win 100%.
Yeah. However, if Promising Young Woman would not be running in that category, Minari has also very good story. Like, it does a very good job of being, like, very, very Korean. Like, they don't feel whitewashed. Like, script-wise, because they try to, like, adapt to, like, American culture.
Yeah.
But they are also still, like, very Korean. But also, it's not a film about racism, which is, like, a easy way to, like, because it's old Arkansas, and there are microaggressions which are still racism, but it's not like they are being actively hated in the community, which also, like, makes it a more universal story, because, for example, like, I really related to this story as a, like, white immigrant.
Yeah. To be honest, I think that's good, because I think there's a habit at the moment that Hollywood's fallen into. It's like, we're going to do a story to do with race, but it's only going to be about race. And I do think that limits the type of stories you're telling, because you can tell a story about people from different races without it 100% being race. So, like, we talked about this on the LGBT stuff. Like, you can have stories about being gay, but that isn't the entire narrative.
Yeah, also just, like, more deep aspects.
Yeah.
So, for example, like, Minari, similarly to, what's that called? The film called Shoplifters.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so they are films about family.
Yeah.
And I like that they are not Western, because just Asian cultures have very different approach to how they see family. And also just, like, you get those, like, two perspectives, Japanese perspective and Korean perspective. And it's so interesting, because also I really like to take insight from their perspective on family, like, what I want to take from that and, like, apply to my life, because I actually want to see my family that way, because I just think Koreans or Japanese people were smarter than Europeans. I'm just like, this is better.
But yeah, I guess because if it's about family, everyone has different dynamics, but also because you said that the kids speak English, but the grandmother's learning through the kids. And with America, especially because it's a country of immigrants, as well as the UK, like, there's loads of different stories there of just being first generation versus being second generation, being, like, the first immigrants to come over in your family. And I think that has a lot to be explored that hasn't been explored in film and TV, because there are so many stories there, and there's different things that people will feel, whether they're first generation or second generation, how they react to their homeland and versus where they're born and stuff. And I think it's interesting the fact that they kind of they have to, like, explore everything rather than just going, this is a story about, like, immigrants in Arkansas, and just focusing on the easy shots they could take of just being like, Arkansas is racist and this is what happens, rather but actually exploring what it's like for people of colour and immigrants, if that made sense. I'm just rambling. We've been talking for so long, I don't know if I'm making sense anymore.
Okay, and we went through all.
More. We've praised a few of them. We've condemned one of them.
Yeah, but generally, I was really happy. With the results. Maybe I would have wanted more for Minari.
Yeah.
But generally, good year, good cinema.
Yeah.
I would recommend watching most of the films that were nominated.
It was a very good year for cinema.
But also in the gala, not only the grandma from Minari had the great speech. Daniel Kaluuya had, like, quite funny. So that was fun. Good year, good Oscars. I still don't like the Academy. And I don't think Oscars are an objective measure of what's a good film.
No.
But also, I actually came up with, like, analogy is Oscars is like Christmas to me as an atheist. Do I believe in the grand principle? No. But do I celebrate it? Yes.
Do you dress up nice? Do you drink? Yeah. Do you disagree over who got what? Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. But it was fun. I like that one, like, time of the year when I'm like, this is the time of the year in which we talk about films.
Yeah, and it's like everyone's talking about films for once, rather than just people at Film Unit.
Yeah.
But I guess, yeah, if you want to talk about films the rest of the year, come join, get involved in Film Unit. You can find us at Film Unit.
Yeah.
I am on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can check out our website. Honestly, just come get involved. We'll talk about films. And also, let's face it, we'll be trying to show as many of these films as we can when we open up. And so if you're interested in any of them, we'll be putting forward our favourites. So
actually, like, now also is like there are many opportunities opening to get involved in Film Unit, because we will be showing films. We will need staff, so if you want to volunteer with us, stay tuned. Go to our social media channels. Also, if you just want to come watch but want to have some say in what we're going to screen, also message us. If you want to work with us and also get it recognised in your Here report, we will be having an AGM.
Yes.
You can join the committee, and it's really fun. I love the comedy.
Honestly, it's been so much fun. I don't know what I'll do when I have to leave, but I'll just be standing outside the window looking really sad while some sad soundtrack plays in the background and it's raining or something, like a proper cheesy movie. But it's a great place to get involved, and it's a good place to meet people, to make friends, and just talk about films. That's because that's what it starts off. It starts with us talking about films, and it escalates into just getting really good memories. So I would recommend it to anyone. But I guess that's it from us this week, because we've gone through all the categories, so and discussed all the films we can. So I thank you for listening. If you have any disagreements with us, feel free to message them in. We'll respond to them. We will. We love debating films. We'll do it all day. If you have any, basically, if you agree with us, if you disagree with us, if you want more recommendations, if you say there's a film that should have been nominated that wasn't, message, get involved with talking to us, get involved in the wider Film Unit. But thank you for listening very much, and we hope you agree with most of our opinions, but you don't have to, it's no pressure. So I guess, thank you and goodbye.
This week's episode was hosted by Jack Denny, Morgan Westwood-Cook, and Asha Stepaniak. It was edited and produced by Asha Stepaniak. Our editor-in-chief is Gwynnie Naylor. Graphics for the podcast were designed by Imogen Self. Film Unit is a volunteer-run cinema in the University of Sheffield Students' Union. You can learn more about our filmunit.org.uk or our social media channels at Film Unit.